Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm James, continuing on with our Balsa USA Stingray 120 build. So in this video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm actually looking forward to this. I hope it's going to be fun, which is I'm going to sort of scratch build a canopy for the plane. So this is basically how it would look per the design or per the plans. It basically has this sort of open cockpit look to it, which to me it's fine if you like it that way, but to me it looks a little sort of unfinished. So I thought what I would do is try to see if I could put a canopy on here. And what I did is I went and I purchased this. This is just a generic canopy from SIG. I don't know what size this is. This is the number, I guess 16. It's in SIG CS016, which I think is one of their biggest ones. And I don't even know, I didn't really know the measurements. It just looked to me like it may fit on here somehow. So I'm going to have to sort of cut this and shape it to fit here. And then I also have to do some little bit of add some wood and such. And I also have to figure out how I'm going to attach it, because the problem that I have is that the wing screws on. There's two bolts right here that we put on earlier, and those bolts have to be accessible right when I'm putting the plane together. So I can't build a canopy right on top of it like this or on the wing and just put it down, because I won't be able to get to those bolts. So the canopy itself, and with the wood and such, I guess it's going to be a canopy slash cockpit, if you will, that has to come off and be detachable and be able to put it on. And I don't want that to be too hard to do out in the field. I want to spend all my time trying to put this canopy on. I basically want it to either snap on somehow, maybe using some magnets, or maybe some small little screws like with some T-nuts or something. So that's what I have in my head thinking about this. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, so I'm just going to dive into it and work on it, and hopefully it comes out okay. So let's go ahead and pull this out and take a look at it. And again, this is just a generic canopy. I don't know where I got this. I didn't get it from SIG website, because I think at this time with SIG, I'm not sure if they're going out of business also. Their website looks like they don't have a lot going on there. But I did purchase, I think I got this off of some seller on eBay. But there it is. It's just a plastic bubble canopy. And it's flexible. So that's what's nice about it, is it's flexible. So I think I could actually kind of get it on here, something like that. So looking at it a little closer here, some of the details. Of course, I got the wing bolts here that I need to avoid. And I do have a little gap in here I'm going to have to fill in, which is no big deal. But my general thoughts on this are that I'm going to trace this shape and put a former. I'm going to have a former up here. Same thing back here. I'm going to trace this shape and have another former. Then I'm going to have some side wood pieces. And then the canopy will attach down on top of that. I'm just going to use a canopy glue. Of course, I'm going to cut this, and hopefully I can slide it down on top of the pieces that I construct. And I'm going to extend it out in the front just a little bit like this. And hopefully, I'm kind of thinking right now, maybe I can put a dowel up in here so that I can plug it in like this and then snap it down maybe with some magnets. So I'm hoping that works out. Sometimes you can't tell, because once you have this thing constructed, it may not be able to just kind of like pop in like that. So we'll just see. I may have to end up using T-nuts or something else. But that's sort of like my general idea, and hopefully it'll come out. I only have one shot at this. I just have one canopy. I'm not going to buy another one if I screw this up. So if I'm not successful with this, then I'll just leave it open like this. Okay, well, if you're like me, you've been building planes for a little while, you probably have a couple scrap boxes of wood. I have these two boxes here, and one box here is actually, this one's just sort of mostly strip, sort of like stick scrap material. And I got a lot of material in there to choose from. And then over here, I have sort of like more planking and sheeting material in this box. So I'll dig through here and see what I can find. And I should be able to, I know I have stuff to do this with, so let me just go ahead and grab some pieces that I think I can use, and we'll get started. All right, well, there you have it. So a couple things to note. I ended up putting a couple pieces, as you see here, instead of using one solid piece of wood across here. The reason I did that is because the angle at this point on the wing, this little point right here, is a little bit different than the angle back here. They're sort of, this one's kind of like this, and this one's sort of like this. And the wood would have to sort of kind of twist, if you will, to go from here to there to be flush. So what I decided to do, actually I was going to use 3 pieces, but 2 seemed to work okay. I just basically kind of built it up, sort of like doing this back here. And I just built it up with these 2 pieces, and they were thick enough so I can kind of overlap along the edges and then sand it to shape. Then I added this little front piece here because I wanted to fill this in, so hopefully, you know, air won't get underneath there, and also it kind of keeps it nice and solid there. And then I used the magnets, as you saw. I have 3 sets of magnets that I use. Those are just those, they're just those rare earth element magnets. I got those at Home Depot, a little set of those, and I just epoxied them in. They're very helpful. And let me see. So yeah, it's really strong. As you can see, I can kind of pick up the plane with it, so it's on there nice and strong. I'm happy with that. Hopefully, it won't fly off when it's flying, but I think it'll be okay. I was thinking about maybe doing a dowel, but I couldn't get this thing to rotate. You know, in order to put a dowel in there, I'd have to be able to sort of like rotate it down into there, and it just didn't work from all the. It just didn't work. It wouldn't fit that way. And I was going to use T-nuts on the sides here to attach it, but I decided just to try the magnets for now. So I think the magnets are really good. So obviously it's not finished, and you know, I'm going to be using, you know, Monokote to cover the wood and just cover it all up, and then this will then be glued on. The canopy itself will then just be glued on using a canopy glue, and that will glue straight onto the Monokote. So it looks a little funky right now, but in reality is like once you cover it with your covering material, you know, it kind of equalizes everything and it ends up looking pretty nice. All right, everybody, well, that's going to be about it for this video. I think this came out okay. And one thing I wanted to mention is when I get toward finishing up the plane, after I put the Monokote on, before I glue the actual canopy on, I'm going to spray it with this. This is basically a transparent smoke. It's basically a tinter for plastic. This is the Tester's enamel. You can get this at your hobby shops or online. It's just basically a transparent, kind of a smoky, kind of gray color. And that'll darken it up a little bit, and I think that will look nice. Okay, so that's going to be it for the canopy. And then in the next video, I'm going to be moving over to the tail. We're going to be putting on the horizontal stabilizer and the fin. And I don't know what else I'll do, but I'm pretty much really close to finishing this thing up. And then after that, we're going to get into Monokote and covering it. And then, of course, after that, everything goes on the plane. We'll put the engine on, the gear, and get the electronics in. So a few more steps left, but we're getting really close. And like always, you know, send me some comments. There's always many different ways to do something like this when you're doing a modification on a plane, or even building the plane straight from the instructions. We all kind of modify things and tinker with things to kind of make it the way we think it should be. So, you know, let me know what you think about my little canopy here, and send me some suggestions and comments, and other people will read those and learn also. Thanks for watching my channel, and we'll see you next time.